We are building a 2D top-down pixel art RPG in Unity. Let's create a quit game button. You can use the same step-by-step approach for any game. It doesn't have to be this specific project I have here. Unity uses a game object-based UI system. Let's cover how it's done in 3 steps. Creating a canvas, positioning elements, and defining user interactions. Whenever I reset my layout to default, I have to set the aspect ratio again here in this drop-down. I go to Window, to the tile palette. I inspected my 4 tile maps in detail, and I will do one final pass, polishing the edges. There is a GitHub repo with the final Unity project from the end of this episode, as well as a playable HTML version of the game in a state the game will be at the end of this episode. I wanted to show you how to create a very basic UI element, a quit game button, and how to attach a simple C# script to it to quit the game when we click it. I go to Hierarchy here, right-click UI button. You can see it automatically created a canvas object with a child button object inside. If I select canvas here and press F on my keyboard to focus it, you will notice that canvas is much larger than my game world. I select grid and I press F to focus. You can see the significant size difference. If I inspect the button, it has a child object called text. TMP is Text Mesh Pro, Unity's easy-to-use system for high-quality text that allows us to format the text and change its appearance. With button game object selected, and here, inside the Inspector tab, I can change the color. I can also use an eyedropper tool here to use one of the colors that exist in the game scene. If I select the text element, I can see the text should read button, but I don't see anything here. I change the text to quit. This will be a quit game button. Unity cannot render text unless I import essential Text Mesh Pro resources into this project. Now the text is finally visible, barely visible. I will also import examples and extras. With text object selected here, I can change the color of the text here. I can also use the eyedropper tool and choose text color from the game world. You can change the colors of the button here, normal color, highlighted color, pressed color, and so on. Canvas is still large, and playable game area is tiny in comparison. If I enter play mode, you can see that Canvas will actually overlay itself to fill the game view, so the quit button is here, in the bottom left corner. With Canvas object selected here, I go to Canvas component and set render mode to screen space camera. And I drag the main camera object into the render camera field here. Now Canvas adjusts itself to the main camera size. I can't see the button, so with Canvas selected, I set sorting layer to foreground here. I can resize my button in its rectangular transform component. I can select Move tool and drag this blue square around to position it somewhere else. Playtest. Now the button is behind the foreground tilemap layer. Foreground objects tilemap is on the foreground sorting layer, order in layer 0. Foreground 2 is on the same sorting layer, but order in layer is 1, so on top of it, Canvas element is also on the same foreground sorting layer now, and to make sure it's always in front of everything and always fully visible, I set order in layer to 10. Playtest, and if I walk around, you can see the button is always on top. It changes color when I click it. With button object selected, inside the Inspector tab, we can change normal color of the button here. You can set these to whatever you want. Here is a highlight color and pressed color. I will make them into shades of blue, I guess. And let's make the text white. Bold. Size 28. I can move the button to a different corner. This will work if we make a build for the game for the desktop computer, but button positioned like this will not work if we export it as a responsive web game. There is much more to the layouts, but let's keep it simple for now. We will build this as a desktop application for Windows and Mac computers. It will be a normal full-screen computer program, so I want to add a button we can click to exit the game. In Unity, it takes only one line of code to implement that functionality. In Assets, Scripts, I right-click, Create C# script. I will call it Quit. I wait for Unity to process this, and I click this script file to open it in my default code editor. As always, Unity auto-generates this class. It extends MonoBehavior and has some default auto-generated methods. I will delete all of this because what we need is very simple this time. I create a method, public void quitGame, and inside I just say application.quit, like this. Careful about capital and lowercase letters. Notice I'm setting this as public here. I save changes and I wait for Unity to deal with it. Here I can see my script has updated. The easiest thing I can do here is to right-click, create empty, and rename this game object to handle quit game. With handle quit game object selected, I go to Inspector, Add Component, and I will add this new quit script we just wrote. I select my button here. I scroll down inside Inspector, and here we have this button component. And inside we have a list of on-click events. Plus button here to add one. And I drag handle quit game object here. I select the quit script and the public quit game method we just wrote. So when we click the quit button, take handle quit game object and run its public quit game method. That's all. If I click the button in play mode, nothing will happen. But when you turn this into desktop computer application, clicking the button will quit the app. You can create a build here inside File, Build Settings. I will show you exactly how to do this in the next part. Click the like if you found some value. See ya!